Hey Canucks fans, now that the Kuzmenko signing is in the books, or at least close to being in the books, let's talk about the next most important piece of business for the Vancouver Canucks, and that is re-signing Brock Boeser. I'm Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Wednesday, June the 22nd, my 48th birthday. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. And yes, because it's my birthday and because it's Wednesday, double whammy, I will be doing a live stream tonight at 10 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, so the usual 10 p.m. back home in Vancouver. That means an early Thursday morning for me, 7 a.m., but it's worth it. It's worth it because I want to be able to celebrate my birthday with all of you before you guys go to bed back home, and I can tell you a bit more about Jacob's game in more detail, his day. I'll tell you a bit about that at the end of this video, but I won't spend too much long on it. I'll do that more in the live stream. If you want to hear more about Jacob's performance in the men's singles for the World Bowling Championships, you guys know that's why I'm here in Sweden. So again, 10 p.m. tonight, hope to see you on my live stream. For now, let's talk about what I always said was basically the biggest, most important piece of work, piece of business that the Canucks were going to have to take care of this offseason. And yes, of course, the Bruce Boudreau contract decision, that was a big one, and that happened pretty quick after the offseason started. And then this Andrei Kuzmenko signing kind of came out of nowhere. Sure, we were hopeful. I wasn't sure if anyone was super confident, but we heard some really good news, obviously, over the past 2 or 3 days. With basically, he's committing to signing with the Vancouver Canucks. He can do so on July 13th, the first day of free agency, and then he can only sign a one-year contract because of his age, as we've talked about before. So 1 year, $950,000. That can be an amazing deal for the Canucks, especially if he outplays that contract. But we'll talk more about Kuzmenko throughout the summer. Let's spend a few minutes talking about Brock Boeser. We know that he is now basically he's at the end of his second contract. So believe it or not, he's been under contract for the Canucks for 6 years already. His 3-year entry-level contract, then his second 3-year bridge deal, so to speak. His first 3-year entry-level contract came after he got drafted with the 23rd pick in the 2015 entry draft. And yes, he's completed 6 years with the Vancouver Canucks now. Runner-up to Rookie of the Year way back in the day. And generally a very productive player. Yes, a few injuries here and there. Some people are worried that he's a little bit injury-plagued, but overall a very productive producer. Productive producer, did I just say that? Productive player for the Vancouver Canucks. Now, I know not everyone is sold on Brock Boeser because I read it in my comments. A few of you have said he's overrated. He's no better than a third-line player. I don't want to see the Lotto line back together. I'm not saying that. That's what I'm saying. You're saying. Not everyone would agree that he's a first-line player, but I do think that he has the potential to be a first-line player when he's at his best, when he's healthy, and when he's working hard, especially on the defensive end. Brock Boeser is coming off a contract. Although it averaged $5.75 million a year, the way it was set up, and because it was under the old rules for the qualifying offers for restricted free agents, we have to pay him a minimum of, we have to give him a qualifying offer to basically retain the rights to continue to negotiate with him. So the qualifying offer, because he's under the old rules, is the value of his last year of the contract, which was $7.5 million. So if the Canucks can do 3 things with Brock Boeser. And basically, I'm asking you, which one do you think the Canucks should do? Number one is you offer him that $7.5 million for 1 year, and he accepts it. That's option one. I'll talk about all 3 options in a second. Option number 2 is you negotiate a contract separate from that $7.5 million and extend him for more than a year. That's option number 2. And option number 3 is you don't extend the qualifying offer and you let him walk as a free agent. And I guess technically there's a 4th option too, is you trade him if you don't think that you'll be able to sign him. Trade his rights at least. That's kind of complicated though, because then the team that gets him still has to figure out how they're going to sign him, but maybe you do a sign and trade. So let's knock off the last 2 options. I don't think they're going to trade Brock Boeser, so number 4 option out. And number 3, basically, I should say something about that. His value is not that high right now because of his unique contract situation, the fact he had an okay year, not the best year. I know it was really unfortunate with his dad getting really sick and then finally succumbing to his sickness. But yeah, I don't think it's the right time to trade him. So let's take option number 4 off the table. let's definitely take option number 3 off the table. You're not going to not qualify him and lose him for nothing as an unrestricted free agent. So option number 3 gone. So let's talk about the 2 options. The first option was sign him, extend him that qualifying offer, and he accepts it. This is very likely. In fact, if I had to handicap it, this is the most likely thing to happen. Because if you're Brock Boeser, why would you take anything less than $7.5 million? Why would you negotiate a contract, say for 2 or 3 years for $6 million or $6.5 million, which is what maybe Canucks fans want, when you can be guaranteed $7.5 million just by virtue of your previous contract? So that's what I think is going to happen. And it's not the end of the world for the Canucks with the Kuzmenko signing. Less than $1 million for basically a top 6 player, maybe a player that's even going to replace Brock Boeser down the road. I'm not saying that for sure. Then it kind of evens out the $7.5 million. Now you got those 2 top 6 players for $8.5 million, 4.25 average. That's a little bit more bearable, I think, if you don't like the Brock Boeser 7.5. So I do think the Canucks will extend him that qualifying offer, and I do think he will accept it. And I think that's the way you go. And then it's kind of like a show me deal. If he does really well, then you negotiate with him again next year at this time. And if he doesn't do well, then somehow you let him go. After this 7th year, he becomes a UFA, or maybe you try trade him throughout the season. So I do think that that's the way the Canucks are going to go. The other option is to try and negotiate an extension with him at a number obviously less than $7.5 million. The longer you go, usually the better you can do with money. And I know people have thought, well, they don't want to go too long with Boeser because he hasn't fully proven himself yet. So maybe do you go 2, 3, 4 years at a number that's less than 7.5. Maybe you get him for 6 or 6.5. That would be great. I would love some cost certainty with Brock Boeser for the next 2 or 3 years for $6 or $6.5 million. I simply don't think it's realistic because, again, why would Boeser even go that route? Why would he take less than the $7.5 million that he's technically owed, or a better way of saying he's earned the right to have that contract? So if I had to choose one, I think that it's going to wind up that way with the 1-year qualifying offer for $7.5 million as opposed to a contract extension in the next few weeks. Now, Jacob, and so to wrap that up, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Which way do you think it's going to go? Of those 4 options, qualifying offer for 7.5, second option, contract extension of 2 or 3 years or more. Give me a number 2. Number 3, do we not qualify him, which doesn't make sense to me, as I said. And number 4, do we trade him, which I don't think is going to happen either, but I'd love to hear your opinion. Now, as for Jacob, finally, after 5 days of being in Sweden, it was his day to play, to perform, to compete in the World Junior Championships. And no, his bowling balls never did arrive. So he was bowling with 4 new balls that he basically had 10 minutes to practice with, which is crazy when you think about it. And it makes his performance today even more impressive. He bowled 6 games, a total of 1296, an average of 216. Usually an average of 200 above is really, really good. And 216 is outstanding. And yet, out of 96 players, 3 fields of 32, 3 squads of 32, he's only in 42nd place. So that means there are 41 bowlers that bowled better than 216, which is outstanding. That means the competition is super tough. I'm not upset at all. In fact, it was such a great birthday gift to see Jacob perform, to see him compete, and to see him keep up with people that are 3 years older than him. Very impressive. I couldn't be more proud. And that 1296 included a wonderful game of 254 in game number 4. So overall, I'm super happy for Jacob. He still has doubles, he has teams, and he has mixed teams. He's got 3 more events to look forward to where he's playing with other players. This was singles, like I said. Does not make the cut of the final 16 because there's still 1 more squad tomorrow to bring it to a total of 120. What is it? Yeah, about 128 bowlers. Actually, I think there are 96 bowlers today. So he came in 42nd out of 96 in the top half. And remember, this is not Canada. This is bowlers from around the world. He'll probably be bumped down a little bit more tomorrow, maybe a few more spots. So hopefully he finishes maybe top 50 in Canada, in the world, which is a pretty cool accomplishment for an 18-year-old. So very proud of Jacob, and I'm blessed to spend my birthday here cheering him on in the bowling alley. All right, Canucks fans, as always, shout out to my sponsors, Perform and Transform, Personal Training and Weight Loss, and Advanced City Experts Real Estate Group, Jason Lim and his team. Shout out to my legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Just Incredible, legendary Andrew Chang, Hall of Fame members Jens 95, Sim Alexander, Chris Seifert, Adam Broomfield, Shannon Hollingworth, HSM Fangirl Gaming, Smooth Groove, and Carol Bovenlander. Thanks to members of all levels, franchise and all-star as well. If you want to become a member of the CCC Crew, press the join button underneath this or my videos on the memberships tab on my YouTube channel. Subscribe if you'd like to, like this video if you'd like to, leave a tip or super thanks if you'd like to, always appreciated. become a member or upgrade if you'd like to, and leave a comment down below if you'd like to, telling me what you think is going to happen with Brock Boeser this offseason. And finally, if you made it this far, 10 minutes into the video, I think there's 2 words that I would love to see in the chat. Has to do with my birthday. So I'll just say it. Type in happy birthday. Actually, maybe you guys might say that anyways. You might not even make it to the end of this video, but regardless, I appreciate your greetings and I appreciate your loyalty on this channel as we continue to grow the best Canucks YouTube channel here on YouTube. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. I'll see you tonight at 10 p.m. for my live stream. God bless and go Canucks go.